All right, the old D150 today is going to get a little bit of love. Got to pull off this window trim here and seam seal this rain gutter. These trucks are notorious for rusting out along this rain gutter in the front because the seam sealer cracks, water gets in there. Once that happens, the whole roof is basically shot at that point. So I've already gotten out some of the seam sealer, but this trim ring needs to come off if I'm going to paint it anyway. All right, basically on these trucks here, you have this one little kind of like little lip that hangs on, and it's like a C-channel. So they hook in from the back and then snap over. So there's a little tiny hole in here that you can reach with a screwdriver. You can kind of pry this out. Once you pry it out, you can start peeling it back. Now, one of the kind of hard things to do is anytime that there's a dent or anything in here, it's a weak point and can cause this thing to roll over and basically bend or kink. Once that happens, you're pretty much hooped. So we're going to try to avoid that. It comes up here and slides underneath this front ring. So we got to get this one off first and go around the front. You can see in the middle there, it's also a little, seam where it's kind of gets coupled together. All right, so like I said, it's like a C back here. It's a bigger curl than it is up in the front. Sometimes you can get it around in the front here underneath and pop it out like that. The key here is not to bend it or tweak it, which is the hardest part of doing it, because it wants to twist back in. But, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. There's probably an actual correct tool to do this. I don't have it. This is the way I've always done it. So if you know what tool it takes, or a faster way, without any risk of damaging the trim, let me know in the comments. There we go. And there we have it. This is the hardest part. You can kind of see how it bends in. I'll move you over here. Previous owner glued these on and then clear coated over the top of them. So kind of sucks. Yeah, you can see how it kind of got bent, but there's nothing I can do about that. Bummer. It's not kinked though. The kinks are the bad ones. And there we go. One small little tiny stretch right here. Not the greatest. Overall though, not too bad. That's actually all paint from the truck. So they just taped it off, sprayed it down. But the clear coat that they soaked all in here, that sucks. But see, we got a little bit of a bend in it. Not too bad. Bad news. The first gen curse has struck. I didn't think this truck had this problem, but apparently it does. Can you even see that on the camera? I don't know. This entire lip has detached, so this entire rain gutter has come detached from the roof line. So we're gonna have to get in there and clean all that out. So all of the kind of rough looking junk in there is, a lot of that is seam sealer. There is probably some rust underneath of it, but we have to clean this up. I ruined the moldings getting it off because this rust had jacked into it and kind of poked it out. You can see right there that's come through. So we're going to have to clean up this rust the best that we can. And in order to do that, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to take off some of the interior. The headliner is probably going to have to come down, because if I do put any, if there ends up being larger holes, which I don't know, if you guys aren't in the rust belt and you don't deal with rust, then you might not know this, but if you've got one spot of rust that's like this big, it's actually this big once you actually start getting into it. So basically that's how it goes. If we got one little hole, it's going to be a huge big nightmare mess all the way across. So we're going to get in here and take out the headliner and whatever interior parts that I can, and we'll start kind of getting into this. All right, first thing we got to do is kind of cold start the D150, sort of. It needs to be moved over and back a little bit. Right now, the mill's accessory pedestal, or whatever you want to call it, and the switch box is too close to the door, so I can't open this door. So I figure, why not cold start the truck? It's been months. Probably needs to have the oil cycled around inside of it a little tiny bit. I don't want to lose all my heat out here either. But we'll fire it up, back it up. Hopefully there's enough trans fluid left in it. It's been leaking, so we'll see. Still have that hole in the exhaust, or the exhaust leak. There we go, not too bad. Yeah, the exhaust, of course, I've never gotten to finish the exhaust. If this is the first time you've heard the D150, it was supposed to go to the trans shop, or it was supposed to go to the exhaust shop, but of course the trans never got fixed, and, you know, just put everything behind. And then winter came, so unfortunately that's just how it goes. We're going to tackle this today and get it kind of stripped down. I think we're going to end up with holes right here, and, you know, whatever. We've still got a lot of dust in it. Figured out I need to get the headliner out of it, so we get cracking on that. See how it goes. This bigger screw right here goes behind the seatbelt. So it looks like all this stuff was already broken and then like JB welded or something together and then painted blue. So I have found a lot of red on this truck. So I do believe that this truck was actually, the interior of it was red at one point, which kind of more of the mystery of this truck because I don't know anything about it. But yeah. So I'm just going to finish pulling these pieces down. Everything is pretty much off. There it got torn a little bit. I'm going to grab off the sun visors. Really pretty easy. And then should be good. Moving on. Hey, check it out. Pretty nice. It's in good shape. It's a lot thicker than I thought it would be. Here, the screw caught on the fabric, rolled it up and tore it. But I think I'll be able to fix that. Yeah, I don't think it'll be too noticeable. Nothing I could have done. Otherwise, though, it's nice. A little faded. It's interesting that it would have faded on the inside. I mean, how often does sun really get there? Maybe the heat? I don't know. But not too bad. That's a nice headliner. All right, we got a spider web. But overall, I don't see any leakage or, staining or anything that would make me believe that we've got rust coming through or anything like that. But the roof is sure in nice shape. Nice color. Can't believe how shiny it is. I don't think anybody's ever had this truck down and painted the interior, so, pretty nice. Anyway, pretty big difference. But seeing as how this is double steel up there, it'd be a nightmare to try to fix that. But, we can't get behind it with anything. But now that we've got this exposed, we'll go in here and just start grinding a little bit. I want to put something over my windshield to keep some sparks out. Stuff like that. I don't want to pit it. It's kind of scratched up anyway, but we'll save what we can. All right, get to it. That went a lot worse than I had hoped. I'll show you what's going on. A lot of holes. Obviously it's totally shot all the way across. I didn't get to that side over there. This is the worst side from what I can tell. We got quite a bit of rust up in there. I pulled out some chunks. I don't know if this is seam sealer or if this is some junk that someone else did, but that was all up in there. This window seal is totally wasted. Actually kind of burned through a little bit right there with the sander, but beyond that, I mean, is what it is. Under this window lip is toast. You can actually see right through it right there. You know how far gone it is. Bummer. But I think I might be able to cut a a small strip of steel and maybe get it up in here and tack it down. I'll just have to match this curve. The window, I wasn't planning on pulling the windshield out, but I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Right now what I'm going to do is just put some Cora Seal down on it. The Cora Seal will eat through every little bit of rust that there is. Whatever that white stuff is, I guess that's seam sealer from the factory. It's almost like a plastic. There's a little piece of it. It almost feels like a little piece of nylon or something like that. It's hard. And I've been trying every disc I've got. It doesn't like cutting it. But yeah, I'll put some Cora Seal on it and hope for the best. I don't know if you guys know anything about Cora Seal, but this stuff is sweet. It comes out kind of looking like a milk. This is discolored because when I first got it, I was an idiot and I didn't use all of it and poured some back in the bottle. But it does turn kind of a black after a while, but it does convert rust really well. So the acid will actually just like eat the rust like up. So it'll create holes if you know, if the rust is there. So we're gonna slather it on. So yeah, like I said, it will, I don't know, it does dissolve rust, so I mean that's a good thing, but it will dissolve rust that it touches. So it can create holes bigger than what you think you've got just by, you know, dissolving the rust. So I'm going to push this all in there into the cracks as much as I can, get it everywhere that I possibly can, and let it go for the night. Tomorrow then we'll come out here and see. I'm going to just try to get it into all of the seams as much as possible. It does create, I don't know, it's like I think I put it on the Jeep and stuff too. It's supposed to create a primer as well. It kind of leaves like a film, kind of like a weird gummy film on it that does get hard after a while. But you can kind of see it. It will turn kind of a darkish color, like a purple. So I'm going to get in there as much as I can. I'll come back when we're done. Alright, well I've put it on pretty thick. Got it everywhere that I can. Actually, you can see it better in the camera than even I can. It looks like, well, I'll have to grind that down and go over it again. Didn't even really realize that it was that bad under there. But yeah, I oozed it all over. Tomorrow the rust will be worse than it is now, or the holes will, but that's no big deal. That's what I want. We'll have to figure out something to do up in here. I checked around, I can't find this molding anywhere. So I don't know what we're going to do about moldings. I guess maybe go without moldings on it for the windows and whatnot. So we'll just have to see. The windshield needs to come out of it and all be fixed. But that's a problem for another day. I just need to seal it up enough that, I don't know. This turned into a bigger thing than I wanted it to. That's for sure. I had other things I really needed to do, but this is the job at hand now. I guess I'll come out here next time that I have some time, get into this thing a little bit more, actually try to make a real video out of it. Everything has been so fragmented with all these partial things that I've tried to get done that there's not really a whole video. It would take a long time, which is why it has. But anyway, we'll figure it all out and come on out tomorrow, I guess, or the next day I can. I'll see you then, whenever that is.